Every draft class, there will be at least a couple Hall of Fame players, future All-Stars, and every other year, generational type talents. Just because a player is selected first overall doesn't necessarily mean he's guaranteed to be an All-Star. In fact, there's been plenty of number 1 picks who were huge busts. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Today, we'll take a look at the best players from every draft class since 2000. Starting with 2000, arguably the worst draft class in the last 30 years, despite Jay Crossover never becoming an All-Star, he's had by far the longest career, played 19 seasons, winning 6th Man of the Year 3 times, was the 8th overall pick selected by the Cavs, still seeking for another comeback. The 6'5" shooting guard has one of the sickest crossover moves the game has ever seen. The other 3 All-Stars were Kenyon Martin, Michael Redd, and Jamal MacLeod. Redd had the best prime, but had a short career due to injuries. Crawford's body of work gives him the edge over Martin as well. 2001, Pau Gasol, the 3rd overall pick. I give the slight edge over Tony Parker by a tiny bit. Both had amazing careers, 6-time All-Stars. Although Pau hasn't announced his retirement yet, his averages of 17 and 9, being the best player to ever come out of Spain. The 2 guys picked ahead of him were Kwame Bust Brown and a solid Tyson Chandler. Parker was selected 28 overall, while 8 total All-Stars came out of this class, including Gilbert Arenas, Joe Johnson, Mehmet Okur, Zach Randolph, and Gerald Wallace. Agent Zero had the highest peak and would have been the best player if he didn't get injured, but because of Pau and Tony's longevity, they get the nod over him. Gasol's a little more accomplished internationally than Parker. Tony also always had Pop and Duncan for San Antonio's success, while Gasol proved he was capable of leading a mediocre Memphis team to 3 straight postseasons from 04 to 06 before joining the Lakers. 2002, another close call. It's easily between Yao Ming and Amari Stoudemire. Yao is more remembered from a global perspective, while Amari had the longer career and more athletic. I give the slight edge to Yao because of his great defense. Both have averages of 19 points per game. Yao over 9 rebounds, Amari just under 8. Yao was the better two-way player. Amari would fit better in today's game, but once Yao got drafted, he was already the franchise player for the Rockets. While Stoudemire wasn't relevant till Steve Nash came to Phoenix, both suffered numerous injuries throughout their careers. The other All-Stars from this class were Carlos Boozer and Caron Butler. Not the best draft class, as Nene remains the last guy standing in 2019. 2003, without question, LeBron James, who's the best player drafted this decade, and it's not even close right now. In one of the best draft classes in NBA history, having 9 total All-Stars, D-Wade was a superstar and the top 3 player in his prime. Carmelo and Chris Bosh, 10 times and 11-time All-Stars, not to mention Josh Howard, Chris Kaman, Kyle Korver, David West, and Mo Williams were the other All-Stars. Wade would have been the best player in likely 75% of draft classes, but LeBron's one of the best players all time without question. 2004, a very weak draft class. The answer is clearly Dwight Howard, who was easily the first pick out of high school. He's by far the best player, where the other 4 All-Stars were Andre Iguodala, Luol Deng, Jameer Nelson, and Devin Harris. Howard was the only superstar. 2005, easily Chris Paul, who was the 4th pick. Andrew Bogut and Marvin Williams went 1 and 2. The other All-Stars were Darren Williams, the 2nd best player in this class, Danny Granger, who had his career cut short due to injury, Andrew Bynum and David Lee both retired as well. CP3 remains the only player out of those 5 to still be in the NBA and still playing at a solid level. Williams has been out of the league since 2017, but still getting paid by the Brooklyn Nets. 2006, another average draft class. LaMarcus Aldridge is the best player, still putting up solid numbers, a career 19 and 8 guy as a 7-time All-Star. Plus Andrea Bargnani was selected over him. The other 3 after LA, Adam Morrison, Tyrus Thomas, and Sheldon Williams. An absolute travesty and waste of picks. Unfortunately, Brandon Roy, the 6th overall pick, had his career cut short due to injuries. Could have been one of the best players in the 2010s decade. Kyle Lowry, Paul Millsap, and Rajon Rondo were the other All-Stars. 2007, easily Kevin Durant, the 2nd pick selected after Greg Oden. The other 3 All-Stars were back-to-back Florida Gator champs Al Horford and Joakim Noah, the 3rd and 9 picks, and Marc Gasol, the 48th pick. KD's better than all these players by a mile. 2008, Russell Westbrook, the 5th pick selected by the Sonics before the team moved to OKC. If it wasn't for Derrick Rose's injuries, he might have been number 1, but Russ has been injury-free for much of his career. A total of 7 All-Stars in this class, including Kevin Love, Brook Lopez, DeAndre Jordan, Roy Hibbert, and Goran Dragic. 2009, 10 years later, it's Steph Curry. Since he's won 2 MVPs and 3 titles, a revolutionary player, selected 7 overall, but James Harden still has time to surpass him if he wins multiple titles. But Curry gets the nod over Harden for now, where the Beard was the 3rd overall pick. Even though Blake Griffin was the consensus number 1 pick, he's the 3rd best player in this draft class. class. The other 3 All-Stars were DeMar DeRozan, Drew Holiday, and Jeff Teague, one of the most underrated draft classes all time. 2010, Paul George, the 10th pick out of Fresno State. Back-to-back years, the best player came from a mid-major. PG was a top 3 MVP candidate a season ago, has been clearly better than John Wall, while DeMarcus Cousins and Gordon Hayward were the other All-Stars from this draft. Not to mention some of the busts selected above George: Evan Turner, Wesley Johnson, and Epe Udoh. 2011, Kawhi Leonard without question. Now the best player from the 2010 and 2011 draft class are teammates looking to help the Clippers franchise win its first ever NBA title. A third straight season, a mid-major player became the best in his draft class in another very good class, with 7 total All-Stars so far. Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, Kemba Walker, and Klay Thompson are also very good, while Isaiah Thomas was selected 60th overall and Nikola Vucevic the 16th pick. The most popular player coming into that draft class was Jimmer Fredette, but he's no longer in the NBA. 2012, Anthony Davis, hands down, one of the most anticipated consensus #1 picks in recent times, now entering his prime with the Lakers, might go down as a top 3 player in the 2020s decade, even though 6th overall pick Damian Lillard out of Weber State won Rookie of the Year, clearly the 2nd best player in the class. The other All-Stars were Bradley Beal, the 3rd best, Draymond Green, Andre Drummond, and Chris Middleton. 2013, by a mile, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who might go down as one of the best players we have ever seen. The 2019 MVP was the 15th pick, is putting up Shaq caliber numbers, maybe the best player very soon for many years to come. The other only All-Star so far from this class, Victor Oladipo, while CJ McCollum and Rudy Gobert are other notable players in this week's draft class. Anthony Bennett was an absolute travesty of a #1 pick. Oh, and the player drafted right before Giannis, Shabazz Muhammad. Remember him? 2014, as of now, I go with Joel Embiid. I believe he's a more talented player and has a higher ceiling than Jokic, but if Joel can't stay healthy, and if the Joker has the longer career, I would give the edge to Jokic, but it's still way too early to tell. I'm going with Embiid as of now. Those are the only 2 All-Stars from this class right now. 2015, Karl-Anthony Towns, hands down, was easily the 1st overall pick. #2 pick D'Angelo Russell and #4 pick Kristaps Porzingis were also All-Stars. Towns has been the most reliable player of the 3, while Russell started becoming good last season and Porzingis still gets fatigued often. 2016, Pascal Siakam. Yes, I said it. Spicy P is on his way to becoming a first-time All-Star. While Ben Simmons was the first player from this class to make the All-Star team, he's been underachieving and disappointing, overrated in my opinion, especially this season. While Pascal is playing like the 2nd best player in the East so far, a way better scorer than Simmons. While Simmons hasn't gotten better, but I also like to mention Brandon Ingram, who's much improved, averaging 25 a game in his 4th season, also playing better than Ben Simmons right now, but the 27 pick has been the best so far in Siakam. 2017, Donovan Mitchell, who will likely be the first player in this class to make the All-Star team, was the 13th pick, the best athlete in this draft. Although De'Aaron Fox and Jason Tatum will have a lot to prove in the future, while Markelle Fultz and Lonzo Ball hasn't lived up to their potential, D-Mitch was already an All-Star caliber player as a rookie, and now one of the best 2 guards in the league. 2018, Luka Doncic, by far, hands down, simply the best in this draft class. It's not even close, and don't you dare say Trae Young. Even though Trae is easily the 2nd best right now, none of the other players will likely be as good in their prime as Luka is in his 2nd season. Right now, a generational type talent and will have multiple MVPs throughout his career. 2019, still to be determined. It's not fair to judge when we haven't seen Zion yet, but at this early moment, I'm going with Ja Morant, who's been absolutely sensational, already playing like a star player and the Rookie of the Year favorite so far. He's one of the most exciting players to watch in the league and will only keep getting better. Unless Zion stays healthy long term and dominates for the next 12 years at least, he might be the best, but so far, Morant seems like the safer bet. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love all of you. See you next time.